All right, 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 all right. Welcome to the broadcast here on July 13th, 2025. What song is this? God's Plan by Drake. Chat, how do I learn about money when everyone is selling courses? Just buy one of the courses. Just buy one of the fucking courses. Atrioc is the white M&M. Yeah, I would say I'm the white M&M. I'm the white Luka Doncic, and I'm the white M&M. And the monitor's in frame. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dear God. You're probably unable to focus. Hi, resubmit. Since when was there another desk in the background? There's always been another desk in the background. That desk has been there from day one. Worst Atrioc angle I've seen in years. It is the same angle. We haven't even changed anything. You missed the phone stream angle. You look fresh today. Thank you, Sandwich Joe. My eye's a little fucked up because I hit it with when I was playing basketball. Slightly more to the left. No, it's not like that. Nothing changed. This is the same. This is the same shot it's always been. This is exactly what it normally is. If anything, it's slightly more to the right. If anything, it's like this slightly. Because it shows the Lakers thing. Like, this is actually it's not a tad low. It's not a tad low. You can't even change the height on this thing. It is the same setting. It's the same setting. Pull up a VOD? Okay, fine. I will. I fucking will. You're so wrong. Atrioc VODs. Let's pull it up right now. VODs. Let's pull it up right now. Yesterday. Just walk in. Indicator. Is there any full screen cam? Take the edge off. Listen to this song. Okay, right here. Just give me one scene where I'm not watching League of Legends. Okay, look. It's the fucking same. It's exactly the same, dude. It's exactly the same. The Lakers chain is in the same spot. It's exactly the same. I'm in the same spot. The camera's in the same spot. It's pointing at the same thing. It's at the same framing. Different shirt. You're so fucking stupid. You're so fucking stupid. It's the fucking different outfit. Yeah. No, you're right. It's a different outfit. God forbid it's a different outfit. I should wear the same outfit every damn day. Boom. The mic is hanging by a thread. Mic's all right. Let's not shit on the mic, okay? Denim shirt recession indicator? No, dude. You guys just be saying recession indicator. You can't say about everything. It has to be a recession indicator. It can't just be wearing something. It can't be like eating a burger, recession indicator. Hey, I don't mean to be annoying, but I was auto banned from the Lemonade Stand Discord the instant I joined. That's so funny. That's so funny that you're being so nice about it. Hey, I'm not trying to be annoying here. It's just that I paid for a service and was instantly banned when I tried to get the service. If you're telling the truth, that's fucked up on our end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your vibes must have been off. Yeah, can you tell me what your Discord username is? I'll handle this shit manually. I'm not gonna pass this off. My Discord is KingWolf00, same as my Twitch. I mean, am I gonna know how to fix this? That's a different question. Lemonade Stand. I go to settings. I go to bands, maybe? Is there a band section? Server settings? Server settings, mod members. Search for you, Kate Wolf. You're not in there. You're not in members. Maybe because you're a band. It says here you had bad vibes. Your vibes are bad, so you have to pay triple. Invites? Dude, I don't fucking know. Roles? Access? How am I supposed to unban you? Oh, bans. Bans. Search. There's literally 0 bans. Are you sure you're banned? I can't fix this. I can't fix this. Yes, I can't join the Discord. Listen, I've given it my all. What more do you want from me? I literally checked. Are you trying to get free access? Is this a scam? I was in it for a second and it was removed. Okay. Patreon support. Here, I'll message Perry, I guess. Yo. Is apparently paid for Discord, but can't get into the Lemonade Stand Discord. Like she got auto banned before it verified or something. Okay, I gave it my best shot. I've passed your problem along to Perry, who runs the Discord. God willing, he can figure it out. Did you ever think that maybe you pissed off the Discord demon? Do you ever think that maybe you like got a hex put on you by a Discord witch? You know, these things can curse you forever. And if you aren't taking proper psychic protocols, then you're going to get destroyed. You're going to get fucked up. It could be Aiden. You could have got hexed by Aiden. Dude, Aiden was so mad. Aiden apparently didn't play very well in basketball, and then someone made a fucking Reddit thread calling him out for playing bad at basketball, and then he's actually really mad about it. Aiden's good at basketball, bro. I didn't see the games, but it sounds very classic Reddit. My favorite part about doing this podcast with Doug and Aiden is them getting to live through just the amount of sheer fucking idiocy that comes with having a Reddit. Having people react to your opinions on. Just the most fucking dumb fucking people, never read a goddamn thing in their life, confidently wrong. Genuinely, question, when do we plan to start watching videos so I know when I'm going to have dinner tonight? Crane, don't ask me such a dumb fucking question. Okay? You can eat dinner at any time you want. Is Aiden crashing out about basketball? He was. He's fine now. Eating Bryant's, thank you for the 10 months. Winter Us Tier 2 is going to get a course on how to run a lemonade stand. I actually low-key think it would be so fun to run an actual lemonade stand with Doug and Aiden as like a promo. Like we go out there to Venice Beach or something and try to actually build a lemonade stand and see if we can make a little money, a little scratch. I think that'd be cinema. I think that'd be a fun stream. I think the vibes would be good. I think it'd be a good promo for the podcast. We should probably do it before it gets past summer. Maybe we do that in like August. Because I want to try to hit 10K patrons if we can so I can go to China. China! Bum, 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 bum. Trying to outcompete the kids? Yeah, I do. I want to set up a lemonade stand across the street from a child. And then deeply undercut their prices and get like a celebrity guest to come and like get a big line and then run them out of business. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be, and then when the kid is out of money, walk up and buy out their whole fucking stand. Use their tears to add salt to the lemonade. It tastes a little bit better. It has children's tears in it as we outcompete them. Can we watch The Apprentice app where they complete lemonade stands? Not today, but like, yeah, there is a classic Apprentice maybe the first episode. It was kind of funny before he became our president. One of the teams, they get all these like business people to compete in like survivor type challenges. And it's whoever makes the most money at a lemonade stand. One of the teams just tries to sell $100 lemonade to rich people. Like their whole strategy is they get this little cup of shitty lemonade and they walk around Wall Street and they're like, if you can spend $100 on lemonade, isn't that the ultimate flex to not give a shit? And then all the guys are like, no. Nobody. I think they might end up selling one. It could be planted for the show, but they don't make enough money on the one they sell to make up for just running a normal lemonade stand, so they lose. Are you wearing the Ibida hat based on the song from Clips? Clips is making the song based on my hat. Pusha T's a fan, dude. He a fan. Are you going to report that lemonade income to the IRS? No, Maggies. We are in the era of grift. I don't report anything to the IRS, okay? I just send Trump a winky emoticon, and he sends me back $300,000 of taxpayer money. Okay? We don't play around anymore. That's big and beautiful. Texting Trump a winky face and then saying, the bill's not the only thing that's big and beautiful. Horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible, dude. Wait, let me get a water. We're gonna watch a couple videos today. I think that's the plan. The one I want to watch first is have Europe's great powers given up? Have Europe's great powers given up? Oh, hunting Russian spies in Norway's spy town? That looks fucking interesting too. Hunting Russian spies? Why Russia is arming this Arctic Bay to the teeth? Wait, these are all bangers. Oops, all bangers episode. Did Perry fix it? You got in? Okay. It looks like Perry just messaged me. He said, at first glance, there's no bands listed and no Kate Wolf on the members list. LOL, I just got messaged by her that I'm the GOAT. I did nothing. Haha, but it looks like they are in. Great. It feels like it was a you problem. I feel like it was user error. You just didn't. And now I had to talk about it. Perry's on a flight freaking out. I just did the douchebag boss thing. I just messaged him. I guess this is what used to happen at like Twitch, dude, or at Nvidia. Jensen or some senior leader sends you a fucking email with a question mark, and you have to just drop everything and jump on it. All right, here, let's watch hunting Russian spies in Norway's spy town. Look at this interesting up close. Whilst I get a quick water, I'm parched. Topo Chico? Dude, I need a Topo Chico bad. I'm missing Topo Chico. Actually, wait, fuck it. We need to watch the Coffeezilla videos first. That's the main story. That's what everyone's talking about. The Epstein Trump meltdown. I talked about it last night.
CryptoZoo.co. I am so excited.
It's a game. It's a really fun game. It's on Voidzilla, isn't it? Voidzilla. Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right. I mean, listen, high level overview. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire pedophile, flying around and cavorting with all sorts of rich and powerful people. Dude, Aiden and I got into a debate on the Patreon. We got into an actual kind of heated debate where I took the side that I was at least suspicious that, you know, I of all the conspiracy theories in the world, I don't believe almost any of them, but I have a gut feeling that it's too coincidental that Epstein killed himself. All right? I think that's the one that doesn't feel like a conspiracy theory. It feels like, man, it's so convenient. And then Aiden was on the side, which I think is fair, of like, listen, it's entirely plausible for that all to be coincidence. For a convicted pedophile to kill himself is not that crazy. And the cameras and guards being lazy is actually pretty normal in our prison system. So we had a debate on it, but it got intense. Maybe Aiden's on the list. Okay, let's relax. Anyway, so we had this debate and we've been talking about it, but we're going to do it. So everyone knows Epstein, billionaire, connected to all the rich and powerful people, gets caught while in prison, mysteriously dies. Actually, apparently suicide. And since then, no one else other than Ghislaine Maxwell, his what do you call that? I don't know, his second in command, his other than her, she his madame, his partner in crime, his handler, sidekick, mistress, whatever. Other than her, no one else has been punished. The idea that there's been this network of pedophilia and there's been no listing of who he worked with or who else was part of this has been a long source of consternation and political turmoil. People have always felt a simmering rage that this guy kind of evaded justice through not being placed on suicide watch, mysteriously dying, and then no one else getting punished. It all just feels like a cover. It feels very smeary. And so for years, basically, the entire Biden administration, Epstein was caught and died during Trump won. Just a reminder on timeline. But during the whole Biden administration, there was this rallying cry that once Trump came back to power, he would finally release the Epstein files, release the client list that the DNC was hiding. And now we'd get the fucking truth. And now we'd figure out, we'd drain that swamp, we get to the bottom of it. And then, you know, Trump does win and he sweeps into power and he puts Pam Bondi in charge and she's talking about it. She's walking around with binders. Can we show the picture of this? Pam Bondi binder Epstein. Yeah, look, they were walking out holding these fucking binders that say like the Epstein client, the Epstein documents, the Epstein client list. Like, are these just fake? And they were like, these are going to be released. It's fucking time. And then nothing happens. And then people start asking more. And then recently, when a reporter asked about it, Trump snaps. And he goes, why are we still talking about this creep? Why are we still talking about Epstein? Let's move on. Like, oh, and then he posted this huge rant that we talked about already where he's like, Obama wrote those files. Obama and the crooked DNC wrote those files. We can't trust them. We're not going to release them. They don't exist. Just like a complete backtracking. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of things you can get away with in politics. There's a lot of promises you can make and then later sweep under the rug. But this promise was so concrete and said so loudly and so specifically for so long that just being like, nah, move on, does not fly. And so it's weird because there's been a lot of things that I would personally think like are like red flags, red lines to draw with Trump's actions in the first 100 days. But this one has really hit with a lot of like right-leaning podcasts or crowds. You know, Andrew Schultz of Flagrant basically came out and had a whole rant about it because, you know, this was like a thing that like everyone wanted to see these files get released and now nothing's happening. It was the straw for a lot of people. It's becoming the straw for a lot of people. It's becoming a very weird moment where everyone's like, is someone corrupt or guilty? And so Coffeezilla has been taking the lead on this story on his Voidzilla account. And I think has put out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos in 6 days. All of them that have millions of views about the Epstein thing. Now, we don't have to watch all of these. I was probably going to watch this one because it seemed interesting, and maybe this one. But we could start with the first one, I guess, where they first talked about no client list.
Hello, welcome back to the Void. Today we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. The big update, which is just that he had no client list and offed himself. That's according to Axios in a big scoop. They apparently got a hold of this document from the US DOJ and FBI, kind of a joint statement here. We're going to go through it. They say, as a part of a commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of the investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein, sort of a relook at the evidence, if you will, and they come to some very interesting findings. And it's interesting in that it's contrary to what a lot of what they've been saying all along, and that's what's kind of the problem here. For the last few months, we've been teased along with these statements about, you know, oh, we've got the client list.
Yeah.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We've got thousands of videos.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
And then, you know, Kash Patel goes on Joe Rogan and says, hey, there ain't no videos. If I had a video of a guy on an island committing a felony, don't you think you know about it?
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge.
Dude, the idea that the head of our FBI is like leaning into a mic as Joe Rogan puffs smoke into his face. It's like, where's our fucking country at?
Don't you think you'd see it?
It's already. Seems like a bit of a contradiction. Now, Joe Rogan even tries to give him the out, like, oh, maybe you don't have it. And he's like, no, we're giving you everything.
If you have access to it.
If I have it, period.
Right.
If I have it.
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving you everything we have.
So far.
Everything we have so far is
Have
the
you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
And so there already was a wedge with what we were sort of told we're going to get versus then they come out and say, hey, nothing to see here. And today is a little bit more of that. It's a little bit more of the finger wagging at the conspiracy theorists, which is ironic given that both Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who have now come out saying there's nothing to see here, guys, were saying, oh, there's a lot to see here before they got it.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide.
It's unbelievable. The guy killed himself.
Now, maybe that's because they did a deep dive and they're just being honest with people.
Again, you want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
But I think you deserve criticism if you're going to engage in this type of conspiratorial thinking.
Yeah, it's just so wild to hype it up, amp it up, lean into it, use it to get power. And then when you're there, be like, what are you talking about, you brain-rotted conspiracy theorist? What could you possibly mean? Can we please move on from this whole Epstein nonsense? It just feels very self-serving.
And then when it's convenient for you, you expect the trust of the people. If you're the one saying like, hey, those guys can't be trusted, you become that guy and you go, well, guys, you can trust me, right? When I'm going to say the exact same thing everyone's been saying this whole time. That's why it's so stupid. I mean, you guys set up all the wrong expectations. You told us we're going to reveal the truth. And now they're saying there's nothing to see here. And shame on you for thinking there was. And once again, this is more self-contradiction because in this statement, we actually find immediately first page, second paragraph, saying that there's a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors. My question is, there's no one else? In this statement, they admit that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. So you got 1,000 people, either some form of evidence that he harmed. Nobody else was involved. Epstein's around the most powerful people on the planet. 1,000 victims. No, nobody else.
Nobody
There's
else.
images and videos. Apparently, that's what they say. Nobody else is on camera, right? Because otherwise, that would mean that the FBI director went on Joe Rogan and told a lie, told a little fib.
If there was a video of some guy or gal
I
committing
get
felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
But he says he's going to get the evidence out. So how do you square this, right? There's 1,000. Was Epstein just filming himself the whole time for did he put it in the evidence box? I mean, that's the ridiculous thing about this. Why would you film yourself committing these?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the, listen, if you look at the, if you look at, like when police raided Epstein's Palm Beach residence in 2006 for the original time he was locked up, they found hidden cameras in his home with a video surveillance system. He tracked all of the stuff around him and used it, quote, to gain possible blackmail information. He kept compact discs locked in his safe in New York with handwritten labels that included the description of person plus name. And it's implied that it's all himself. All of this stuff is himself. None of that, for the second time around, none of that existed, and it's all 1,000 for, it's so interesting to imply that all of this footage you found does not implicate anyone else, and we all need to move on.
Dax, that's where the whole blackmail angle came from, was there's all these videos for what, right? And I'm sure those people, these powerful people, did not consent to being recorded. So what else was this being used for? It's just pretty amazing. This whole statement seems to absolve any third parties, saying that they really have nothing else that they can bring that would expose third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Saying later, this systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. Now, here's where I gotta say,
she said it was on her desk. How do you go on the news and say, yes, there's a client list on my desk, and then be like, no, there's no client list?
Yeah, what, you didn't find the little notebook that had the every guy that did something wrong on it? Yeah, obviously that's probably not going to exist, right? But if you have videos and somebody appears in the video doing something bad, it's not a client list, but that's a client, right? So I just find it so hard to believe. I just don't believe. I'm going to be honest. I do not believe that you had so many videos, apparently enough to catalog over 1,000 victims, and not a single other person other than Epstein.
Wait, I'm sorry. Ghislaine Maxwell said she's ready to reveal the client list. Is this a real story? You hit me in the fucking Daily Mail or something. I don't know if I can trust it. It's got to be from a real source, bro. I can't be going to your dailymail.co.uk. This is like the Sun of the UK. She's behind bars serving 20 years. No one from the government has ever asked her to share what she knows. She was never offered any kind of plea deal. So interesting. On Saturday night, Trump posted a rebuttal saying, for years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we not giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the looters and criminals of the Biden administration? Dude, The idea that Obama wrote the Epstein files is so fucking funny to me. So fucking funny to me. Epstein literally arrested and convicted during Trump's administration. And that's when Obama was cooking up the Epstein files. Obama's playing chess, dude. Obama playing chess, dude. Also, like, I mean, not that it's not discussed enough already, but they were close friends, man. Epstein and Trump were close friends for like 10 to 15 years. In New York circles. I think Epstein is on tape, on a tape recorded by author Michael Wolff, that said Trump was his closest friend. Closest friend for a period of years. Probably not by the time he recorded this, but that's a tough angle. That's a tough angle, bro. Yeah, in the late 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s. Nearly 20 years. Direct quote from Trump from New York Magazine in 2002. Direct quote from Trump. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. That's a direct quote. That is a direct quote from New York Magazine in 2002. You can find it right here. Jeffrey Epstein, international money man of mysteries, before he's in October 8, 2002. Trump. And there's the quote. I've known Jeff for 50 years. Terrific guy. Real fucking quote, bro. And so I can't believe Obama, I can't believe a young Obama in 2002 pretended to be Trump, called New York Magazine, and said this quote, knowing he's playing the long con. That was fucking brilliant. Obama's schemes go so fucking deep. It's about Clinton. In his eyes, Clinton, the species room is the highest for an angle. Yeah, I mean, fucking Bill Clinton probably hung out with this guy too. Almost assuredly. Listen, the assumption is that all of the people who are constantly photographed hanging out with Epstein hung out with Epstein. I would buy that. I would buy that. I would give that. I'm just Occam's razoring it. That it's probably not what they say, which is like, yeah, I barely knew him. I barely knew him. That was the only photo that we ever spent any time together. It's probably that they were more free about their association with him before it was a problem, but now they pretend like they never knew him.
Appeared on any of them, right? He's friends with all these famous people. He got rich, and nobody knows how he got rich. People suspect that it was some form of blackmail, but the FBI seems to basically say this is a conspiracy theory. They say perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends of combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. You know, I actually agree with that. I do think we have to be careful not to jump to, conspiracy theories. The problem is when you release contradictory evidence, it makes people think that you're hiding stuff. Like that is not.
All right, let's move on to the more recent video, because I think that's where the evidence of him seemingly hiding something seems more real.
The president of the United States is trying to cover the Epstein story. It's the double down right here on Truth Social. A big post saying that actually it's the Democrats who wrote the Epstein files. This is just after Elon Musk, who worked with Trump for many months, said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Obviously, we've already seen deflections from the president about Epstein, saying that it's a disgrace to talk about him.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It just seems like a desecration.
Dude, it's so fucking crazy. Dude, I was talking about this yesterday, but like, this is what I can't stress enough. This is what like a child would do in a show when they were guilty and trying to hide something. This is like how you'd write a character to be like pretending. The way they're saying it is it's so on the nose.
But today it goes a step further. Quick context. There's been a lot of infighting in the Republican Party over basically who.
Wait. It's like, are we still talking about who crashed the car into the building? At this point, who cares? Are we still talking about it? Can we move on? We can't figure it out.
Who's at fault for the giant botch of the Epstein files, with the majority of Republicans not wanting to believe that Trump himself was against a full release, but rather that he was sort of tricked into not releasing the Epstein files by one of his lackeys. But today, Donald Trump came out and basically backed Pam Bondi, saying they're all going after Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Democrats who conned the world with the Russia hoax? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton Steele dossier. Now, this is such a smokescreen and a deflection. This is not a left versus right issue. Epstein never has been. It's the people versus the predators, not left versus right. The people versus the pedophiles, the people versus the people on planes. There ain't no left versus right here. In fact, some of the people who want this the most are people on the right, even on.
I can't believe Coffeezilla was paid off by Obama. It's fucking sad to see. It's fucking sad. Someone I trusted, someone I respected to be a voice of sensibility on the internet is completely under the thumb of Barack Hussein Obama. This is crazy, dude. Obama showed up in his tan suit and hypnotized him.
Truth Social, obviously a hugely Trump-favored place. Everybody is saying, no, this is unacceptable. You have to release the files. Later in the post, Trump also says that these are radical left-inspired documents and to not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. But actually, we all do care about it. You know who doesn't actually?
Dude, that's great. Listen, Trump has a lot of power to change people's minds. He can get a lot of people to care about something or not care about something. But he's really pushing the limits. To tell people who have talked about Jeffrey Epstein nonstop for 4 years to be like, nobody cares about this. Nobody cares. Everyone move on. It's like, it's such insane whiplash. It's been 12 years. Yeah, I just mean like in the election, it was such a big,
want this out? The elites. That's why they've never done it. That's why it was a compelling pitch when Donald Trump hinted to his base that maybe he was going to release the files. People largely didn't trust the job that Biden had done. That's why it was a compelling story. So the idea now that it was Biden and Obama who invented the Epstein files is absolutely preposterous.
Also insane that Biden and Obama cooked up these devious files and then didn't release them. They cooked them up but didn't release them so that you could run on the fact that you were going to release them and then get to power and then not release them because they're cooked up by Biden and Obama. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense, dude. It was 9D chess. I guess, dude, imagine. Dude, it would be so funny to live in a world where Trump is telling the 100% truth. Every time we're like, this makes no fucking sense, Trump. And he's looking over there and Obama's just off camera, smirking deviously. He fell right into my trap. Obama literally sat down and wrote down these fake fucking files, then purposefully got Biden to not release them so that Trump could be like, wait a minute, I want to see them. Run on that, get to power, realize he was hoodwinked. Now it's too late. Holy. A Saw level planning by Obama.
They don't want that out either. And maybe that's because, as a producer of 60 Minutes alleged, Ghislaine Maxwell implied that there were tapes on Trump and also tapes on Clinton. You know who else said it? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, saying Epstein said, what I know about both candidates, the 2016 election would have to be canceled. So this whole idea that this is a left or right thing, it's not. It's the elites. Anybody who was on that plane, anybody who was associated with Epstein, seen with Epstein, even if they did nothing wrong, they don't want that out. Everyone who wasn't seen with Epstein, wasn't on that plane, of course they all want the files out. And what's interesting...
So this is my argument with Aiden on the podcast. Is basically what I said is, listen, here's an example. There was the Boeing whistleblower death. You know, I think I made jokes on here about Boeing murdering whistleblowers. But in reality, my personal opinion is that they didn't. In fact, the more I looked into it, the more it's like just being a whistleblower is an incredibly isolating, lonely experience. The guy killed himself. And in fact, Boeing didn't even benefit from his death in really any way. I mean, it was like one person of many that are suing them. And so I'm of the opinion that Boeing didn't actually kill anybody. I would hate that. But this one feels so much different to me. This one feels so much differently because the incentive is so strong. If there are rich and powerful people connected to Epstein in this case, for him to not go to trial, not have this case continue, not have it looked into. The incentive is so insanely strong. And then the coincidence of him dying off camera, off suicide watch, guards don't check in every 30 minutes like they're supposed to, is so insanely convenient. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying we don't have an underfunded prison system. I'm not saying we don't have a shitty prison system. But, you know, if you look into it, even lightly, you know, Epstein is caught, I think, late July. And then a few days later, maybe like a week or two, while he's in prison, the prison suddenly has a total camera outage where like 3/4 of their cameras are down for technical errors for weeks. And then the day it's supposed to be fixed, he dies. It's so, and then at the same day, the two people that are supposed to be guarding, it's just, I'm not saying it's impossible. I guess there's a world where all these things line up. But because the benefit is so high if someone was implicated, it just feels crazy to be told to just move on. So Barack Hussein Obama set it up. And by the way, I mean, it's possible he did kill himself because he did attempt suicide, I believe, before that. But then it's weird because he was on suicide watch and they took him off of it. The whole thing is just so strange. It's so strange. It ruined what conspiracy you actually believe in, games forever. Yeah, and I doesn't even feel, I mean, I guess it is a conspiracy if the official story is different, but it just, to me, it's so much more plausible than any other of the normal conspiracy theories that get thrown around. And so I don't feel like it's the same thing to me. I don't feel like I'm being less skeptical than usual. Anyway.
Interesting is obviously the Trump administration has sort of played footsie with this idea for a long time, playing to their base. They know this is a big issue. They had the influencers stand out there with a bunch of released material, but we also showed clips of Donald Trump implying that maybe Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew were doing bad things on the island.
Bill Clinton.
Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
So consistently, Trump has hinted that maybe these guys were involved with Epstein, maybe it was bad. But turns out all these guys knew each other and knew Epstein. We know this in part from a Piers Morgan interview where he talks to a lady who went to a dinner party with Trump, Clinton, Epstein, and Prince Andrew.
That's crazy.
Collection of very
That's a horrible blunt rotation. Holy God.
high-powered people. How did they all interact with Epstein? How did Trump, Clinton, and Prince
Everyone
Andrew
seemed-
interact with him?
Call that
Everyone was
call that the yard. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say
very, very pally with him. You know, it was like there was a close bonds. You could see that.
So these guys knew each other, apparently had dinner parties together, all of them together. Trump later accuses two of the guys of doing bad things. And then when we release the files, can we release the files? Well, no, actually, no, we can't do that. Nobody cares about that. The reason why seems obvious. Epstein knew Prince Andrew. Yes. He knew Bill Clinton. Yes. But he also knew Donald Trump. And recently tapes were released of Epstein talking and calling Donald Trump his closest friend.
So how do you know this? Donald's closest friend.
So it makes intuitive sense to distance yourself from files that may or may not.
That's so crazy. It's so wild. Dude, Trump is one of the most untouchable people politically of all time. It's crazy what he gets away with. To have Jeffrey Epstein on camera calling you his closest friend for a decade and to have people support you being like, look, do I wish he'd release the files? Sure, but he's bulletproof, dude. He's Neo in the Matrix. He's untouchable. Even real bullets, he dodges them. Okay, nothing sticks. Nothing fucking sticks. It's crazy. It's crazy. There was a guy, Howard Dean, lost his chance at the presidency because he said, "Pyaw!" That was it. He was a relatively upstanding guy. He goes, "Pyaw!" And he lost his chance at the presidency. Fucking Trump has Epstein on camera being like, we were best friends. And then Trump goes, no, I didn't know the man. Barely knew the man. And we don't look into that?
Have your name in it and even distance yourself from the people involved. It's worth stating Trump actually denied knowing Prince Andrew.
I don't know Prince Andrew.
Of course, this was immediately debunked by photos showing the two together. And of course, showing that they clearly knew each other as of 2000. Now, the reason you would deny knowing Prince Andrew, even though you did, is obvious. At the time, he was facing allegations related to Epstein. By the way, allegations that now are basically over. Prince Andrew is very happy about us dropping the Epstein probe. A source for The Sun said he's only been abroad once since the scandal erupted. Prince Andrew has always been very nervous about going abroad and always looking over his shoulder, as he should be, in my opinion. But now he's very happy because the guy who never met him but was photographed with him in 2000 just ended the investigation. Now, I have to say, Trump's been pretty consistent on the fact he has no interest in releasing the Epstein files in full. He said this multiple times. The reason most people have sort of a false memory of this, the reason it's sort of a Mandela effect that he campaigned on the idea of releasing the Epstein files is because Fox News released a deceptively edited clip where they cut out the part where he said, yeah, I'll probably release the Epstein files. And they cut out the part where then he backtracks on that completely.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
And that's the part most of us saw. Of course, later, people found out that the full clip showed him saying basically the opposite.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole...
Come on. Come on, dude. How do you spin this? That's so obvious that you're in there. That's so obvious. That is dude, that is not like 9D chess. That is the most obvious, like the thought going through your head as you're saying it.
World.
We also have Bill O'Reilly on News Nation saying he just talked to Trump back on St. Patrick's Day, and Trump basically said the same thing.
He said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with it.
Damn, you hate to see your heroes fading. You can't see Bill O'Reilly looks fucking ghoulish. I remember when I was a kid watching Bill O'Reilly every single day to get my talking points. He looked, he was vibrant. He looked so fucking old.
Epstein's conduct, they maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for.
He's turning into Biden. Bill O'Reilly and Joe Biden are converging. Who'd have thought that would
one
happen?
thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that.
So over and over, we've seen the same answer from the president. Not the fact that, oh, no, the Epstein files, it's a lefty conspiracy. No, actually, it's the worry that people in the files are going to have their lives destroyed by the files. That sounds a lot more like covering for the people in the files than it does covering the victims. We've heard Kash Patel and Pam Bondi talk about, oh, we got to protect the victims.
Go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that back out there.
But when we actually hear the president talk about it, and the real reason, right, because he's...
Is bringing the perpetrators to justice re-victimizing the women? Reddit, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole? I decided not to investigate multiple decade-long sex crimes because I didn't want to re-victimize the women by giving them justice.
Ultimately the decision maker on whether this gets released. What the real reason is cited is not about victims. It is about the people, the names in the thing. So I find it disgusting. They're using the victims of Epstein as a shield for the people who are actually in these files. Now, of course, who specifically is he worried about? Well, maybe it's his friends. Maybe it's people he has dinner parties with. And of course, maybe it's him, Donald Trump, that he's worried about. The journalist Michael Wolff actually...
It's so insane. It doesn't make any sense when you really think about it. It doesn't make any sense. If someone commits a crime, it's not re-victimizing you to persecute that crime. It's not. You just have to do it. When you arrest a murderer, you're basically re-murdering the victims. Yeah, I mean, listen. If I murder you, it would be a real disservice to your family to bring this whole thing back up again and try to put me on trial.
Quote Steve Bannon as saying Jeffrey Epstein was really feared in 2016 for what he knew.
I was there, and it was that moment. And Bannon said to Epstein, and he said this in a good humor. He said during the campaign, it would be the 2016 campaign, you, meaning Jeffrey Epstein, were the only person I was afraid of.
So that is 3 independent sources. You've got the Ira Rosen quote, the Michael Wolff quote, and the Mark Epstein quote, all saying that there is some type of damaging information on Trump. 2 of those people specifically implying that it's also on Clinton as well. You also have the Elon Musk allegation from left field, but he doesn't source anybody, so we won't count that. Either way, I must say, I don't know for sure if Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew...
Listen, I don't give Elon Musk an ounce of fucking credit, but the Elon Musk allegation has some weight, if only because Elon Musk was the world's biggest Trump glazer until 1 week before he said it. It has some, in that he was deeply enmeshed in the administration, gave $300 million to support Trump's campaign. So for him to say it is burning a very important bridge. Now, I don't think he's doing it out of a heroic sense of justice for the fucking victims of the Epstein thing. I think he was doing it because he wants to get the EV tax credit back in the fucking bill. But I think he's not running on a total lie. I think there's some fucking truth there.
Donald Trump were heavily involved in anything nefarious or not. That is exactly why we should all demand that we open these files. But the possibility of both Democrats and Republicans being implicated in some of these files, whether they did it or not, or just knew him, may give a plausible reason for why the Epstein files have been heavily redacted this whole time. There are very powerful people involved. We've known that. The reason we've been given, of course, is that, we've got to protect the victims. The real reason behind the scenes is really they're protecting the powerful people. Now, the most charitable interpretation is, as Bill O'Reilly said, it's because those people would have their lives ruined. They had nothing to do with Epstein, but we know some of them probably did. We know this from the Miami Herald because the FBI agents who searched Epstein's house found a cache of thick black binders all labeled with names that contained hundreds of naked or semi-naked photographs on CDs that Epstein stored in various places.
Yeah, but all the names were just Jeffrey Epstein. He wrote his own name. He wrote his own name on hundreds of fucking binders of CDs and labels. Just his own name on every single one. So no one else needs to go to jail. No one else is in trouble. He was practicing his signature.
The labels on the binders were redacted from photos because prosecutors said they were names of third parties.
That's crazy.
Who were not relevant to the case.
They're not relevant! Investing notorious sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein, who's got binders of evidence in his closet with people's names on it. We got to cover those up. We gotta cover those up because they're not relevant. Gotta imagine it's relevant, bro. Gotta imagine it's relevant.
They're mounting against Ghislaine Maxwell.
Locking up El Chapo and letting the rest of the cartel off the hook. El Chapo telling you, I did it all alone. I acted alone. I smuggled all the drugs. I committed all the murders myself. I grew the cocaine, I packaged it, I smuggled it, I sold it. It was all me, El Chapo. A one-man cartel.
Well, so my question is, are those some of the third parties? Their names are on binders with a bunch of explicit photographs that Epstein was storing? That seems like something we should be investigating. Or what about the fact that since the FBI is saying there's no blackmail involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we investigate the Wall Street Journal report that Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to extort Bill Gates over an extramarital affair because
Yikes.
I thought there was no blackmail involved. And my real plea to people is to not allow comments like this, these statements about partisan politics, to trick you into thinking this is some type of left versus right issue. That is the Trump play right now. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a disaster. I think it's very stupid. I think people on the right are just as interested as people on the left. I think this is a universal issue, as it should be. If there are predators in the highest offices in the land, be they Democrat or Republican, we want to know about it.
Well said. Good video. Yeah, I agree. I fucking agree. But if there's any good to come from this, absolutely fucking insane, deranged Truth Social by Trump, is that it's so blatantly obvious that it does seem to be a cracking point for a lot of people. It does seem to be a cracking point. Listen, I've always said that. I said this fucking since the day of inauguration, but I maintain deep confidence in it. Unless something insane happens, which will always give you an out to subvert the entire democratic process. I'm not saying it could never happen, but unless that happens, the midterms are going to be a fucking bloodbath. They're going to be a bloodbath. And then Trump's a lame duck, dude. Because right now, everything he gets away with is because Congress does not have any check on him. But once the midterms are over, assuming they run according to polling, he's in a much worse spot for getting anything through. Mm. That unfortunately assumes the Democrats are remotely even competent. No, the Democrats are not competent. They don't have to be. We have a ping pong democracy right now. Everyone gets fucking furious at one side. They flip to the other side. The other side doesn't solve their problems. They get furious. They flip back. Listen, it's not like fucking Keir Starmer was a brilliant politician, bro. He just won because people were pissed at the Tories. They're ping-ponging. Ping-ponging until the system breaks. Ping-pong until the system breaks. But people are mad. Don't rule out the America Party? God willing, dude. God willing, we got Elon Musk's America Party. That'll clear things up. Woo! Woo, Lord. We're going to have AI in the military. Wasn't it like their number 2 policy position? The America Party. The simple centrist things that every American can agree on. We want AI drones in the military. That's number 2. It's like, that's crazy. That's crazy, dude. That's your fucking big tent platform. I did see that. Yeah, I can talk about this real quick. So, if you guys know, wait, let's pull this up. Let's get a little paint going on here. Hey, by the way, not to toot my own horn here, but I was on a call today with a ex-executive of Twitch, a really high-up guy at Twitch originally. Made a boatload when Amazon bought it. I was on a call with him because he's got a new startup, and he wanted to ask me some thoughts about it. Anyway, I haven't seen him in a bit, and he told me he watches almost every Big A clip. And I was like, this guy used to be my boss's boss's boss. That was so sick, dude. It was so, like, this guy's like, I used to be like, when I worked at Twitch, like, this, holy shit, that's that guy? And he watches all these Big A clips. That was fucking sick. I mean, he's like Mr. Jet Set. He always flies around the world. That's crazy. Anyway, sorry, you were saying about this. So the reason I bring it up. So there's X.com, the everything app, aka Twitter. I don't have to write it. You know, Twitter. This company is kind of failing. So it sells itself for $45 billion, 45B, to XAI, the much better and flashier AI startup owned by Elon Musk. Now, this company's worth a lot of money because everyone's hyped about AI. So there's a lot of money going on in this. However, this company is probably burning through all that money as it spends billions on NVIDIA chips for Grok and to buy useless Twitter companies. So it needs more money. So it's raising again at a higher valuation. Now, in order to justify that higher valuation, it needs investors willing to pay that much. One of the investors they're cooking up is fucking Tesla or SpaceX. Wait, which one? Which one is he? Tesla? XAI? Yeah, Tesla. It is Tesla. But I think he wants to merge all three. Tesla. Okay? So he's getting his public companies, because I think I also read that he's trying to get SpaceX already did it. That's why I knew it was both. I knew it was both. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, okay. So XAI does go to SpaceX. SpaceX puts in $2 billion to help float it at a higher valuation. And now he's trying to get it also to get funded by Tesla. So this web of connections here to keep all of this house of cards afloat is getting pretty fucking crazy. Everything is all looping at each other. I think, and then someone was floating today that he was either commenting on or liking the idea of merging all three of these companies. Okay? Just to get money to bail out all the failed bets here and here. Now, here's what I'll say. Latest update, my understanding. Tesla, this company's fucking dog shit. Low-key, dude. Sales are continuing to drop. Revenue down, valuation way overextended. Not, again, I've said this a million times. I can't say it in better ways. I understand the stock is what it is, but I remain confident that math is real and that Tesla is just not worth what it said it is. That's fine. However, I will say, to be fair here, my latest reading, and I read something today on SpaceX, this is still a thriving company. SpaceX is still getting huge government contracts. Trump has not yet followed through on his plan to have Doge investigate Elon. And SpaceX is very deeply enmeshed in the military and just the highest levels of government. For a lot of problems the government has, they go to either Palantir or SpaceX to deal with it. They go, we can't figure it out. You guys do it. Here's $1 bazillion. So this is kind of like the last one that feels like it's got future potential, like it's growing, and I don't know, as tech that is not yet caught up to or matched by its competitors. Everything else, it almost feels like spinning plates, dude. Like, this company's such a bust. X.com, ad revenue dead, subscription revenue dead. They're using adjusted EBITDA, dog shit, to try and pretend like they're growing, but they're not. XAI, this is all hype so far. I mean, no revenue. They haven't made any money off of it. They're just throwing away billions on newer models of Grok, but they're not making money yet. So eventually they have to make some money. The valuation's absurd, assuming future profit potential that doesn't exist yet. Tesla has some car sales, but they're declining. They've never been really profitable. It's mostly government tax credits, which are now gone in the big, beautiful bill. So they're screwed. SpaceX is the only time where actual money is coming in. Actual cash money is entering the building. So it's all going to end up here. It's going to have to bail out everything. The two things that keep it going are the AI bubble continuing and investors willing to pay any price for a company that has AI in it, like Grok, like XAI, and SpaceX continuing to make government money. If either of those two pillars leave, the whole house of cards is collapsed. What about the boring company? Zero revenue, zero money. Not even worth talking about. Anyway, let's watch another video. Let's watch hunting Russian spies in Norway's spy town. India short market worth talking about? That's a good idea. That's a fucking good idea. Are you a fan of my content, McBain? You got 124 messages in here, been following for a year. Are you a fan of my content? You are? Fuck yeah. You ever watch the Big Eclipse channel or just Twitch? Are you just a Twitch guy? Are you a Big Eclipse guy? Or what? How'd you find my content? Twitch usually? I'm being mean. I covered it and I put a video up and it's got 300,000 views. It's live. I did it yesterday. It's up. It's out there. You can talk. You can see my whole thoughts. I did a presentation. 50 slides. Let's watch this.
We're on the hunt for Russian spies with Norway's domestic intelligence agency, the PST. Regional Chief Johan Roldsnes is operating in a town right on the border with Russia.
Wait, I gotta check it out. Let me understand. Hunting Russian spies. Okay.
We're on the hunt for Russian spies with Norway's domestic intelligence agency, the PST. Regional Chief Johan Roldsnes is operating in a town right on...
Their fucking spy agency is a time zone? That's so whack. Imagine getting assassinated by the PST.
the border with Russia. Both its ties to Moscow and proximity to key NATO bases have made it a focal point for covert operations.
It's very rare to get this kind of access, particularly in such close proximity to Russia.
For this community, everything with a link to Russia is treated with suspicion.
They call this spy tone.
Spy tone.
Everything what I do. When you get the kind of off feeling that somebody is doing this on purpose, this is not natural.
It's just weird. I swear we've seen this car on numerous occasions before.
Are we sure it's not just a bunch of paranoid Norwegian people? Maybe it's just a boring fucking town and they're all just want to have a little excitement in their life.
This makes you paranoid. That's the whole thing about this place. You kind of imagine that you see things sometimes. You can't help but think that there's something weird going on.
Kirkenes is located at the eastern tip of Norway.
Beyond this fence here is Russian territory.
The red and green post marks where Russian land begins. The black and yellow symbolizes Norway. Its proximity to Russia.
So if we stood right in the middle, we could make our own country, chat. And we could do whatever we want with no laws. Okay? So somebody bring the cat. And we're going to have the wildest party in between Russia and Norway. In Atriocville?
has made it a key target in operations to surveil NATO.
Last year, Russian citizen drove for 14 hours to take photos of some military infrastructure, and he was fined and banned from Norway for 5 years.
Elsewhere in the high north, Russians have embedded themselves deep in Norwegian society. Mikhail Mikushin claimed to be a Brazilian researcher named José Assis Maria.
Okay, fake name.
But while focusing on Arctic security at a university in Tromsø, he was actually
a guy named Mikhail pretending to be a Jose is pretty funny. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying nobody has, you know, I just wouldn't buy it. I'll be honest. I wouldn't.
Deep cover Russian spy. This video shows the moment of his arrest in 2022.
It seems so kind of old school Soviet. It takes a huge amount of resources to use an illegal in that way.
Mikushin was exchanged in a prisoner swap in 2024 and was greeted personally by Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Oh, shit.
In addition to cases of deep cover espionage,
he's connected.
Hybrid tactics such as sabotage, cyber warfare, and arson are ramping up all across Europe. Authorities suspect Russia and its allies are behind these attacks. Norway's high north is particularly vulnerable to threats. Access to the Barents Sea provides strategic military positions in the Arctic and opens up a channel for Russia to reach the Atlantic. The waters are also a prime location for the fishing industry.
Yeah, as everything melts in the Arctic, I've talked about this before, but as everything melts in the Arctic, America, China, and Russia are all like eyes emoji on all the rare earth minerals and open shipping lanes and geostrategic power that's going on up there.
But Norway says Russia is utilizing its fleet of civilian trawlers to conduct covert maritime intelligence operations.
We have a general assessment about all civilian Russian vessels posing an intelligence threat to Norway. It can be a way to transport in somebody that wants to conduct a sabotage operation. Russian intelligence, what they're best at, that is using all forms of legitimate causes to exploit that in intelligence gathering. This is some of the port facilities. This is a deep...
God, it's so fucking gray. It almost feels like there's a filter on it, but there's not. This is the price Norway has to pay for having the highest quality of life in the world and having a $300,000 per person sovereign wealth fund. This gray filter, dude. This this Norway filter. This
water dock for bigger vessels. And we have a Russian vessel over there.
The port is only one of 3 in Norway the Russian vessels are allowed to dock at. And the problem for the PST, the concern, is that many of these vessels might be coming in to do espionage activities, to gather intelligence for the Russian state. And that is why they come here on a regular basis.
Wait till it's summer, though. Wait, can we pause? Let's do a little. Let's do a little middle of the stream discussion on. First of all, it is summer. First of all, it's in summer. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about Europe and the fact that Europe is literally, not figuratively, literally dying of air conditioning. They don't have it. As everything heats up, temperatures that are otherwise seemingly normal, they don't seem that crazy, are killing people. They're having summers where, it's 80 or 85 or whatever, and it's like, that's hot, don't get me wrong, but it's killing people in Europe. Or yes, 76 degrees in some cases. Because, listen, people are laughing, like, how can they not handle it? It's not because they're physically different, although that's very funny. It's because the buildings there, first of all, having no AC, and also they're built to retain heat. Like, as the globe warms, cities like Rome, Madrid, Frankfurt, Barcelona, Athens, Lisbon, they're like ovens, dude. They're getting cooked with no AC. And it's becoming like kind of a crisis in Europe in this is a heat wave summer where Athens, dude, well, when we're on the beaches, they have to find some way to change it. They can't really ignore it. And there are ways to add more AC that are energy neutral. There's like the, what were they specifically called? The air-to-air heat pumps. They can take care of the temperatures needed without burning gas. That could have negative net impact on emissions. Like, there's got to be something. You have to do something, even if you're going for a green solution, because what's happening, not even just the deaths. This chart is death rates. And the death rates are way up in heat waves in Athens, Barcelona, Frankfurt. But not just deaths. It's also this, okay? Every degree you get above 73 Fahrenheit, which is 23 Celsius, every degree you get higher, your sleep efficiency goes way down, your sleep duration goes way down, your productivity goes way down, and the amount you can learn goes way down. If you're in a school where it's 74 degrees, you can't fucking learn anymore. And it's already hard enough because everybody's brain rotted. So, it's actually like this mass paralyzing event. A heat wave in the summer in Europe is like everyone's sleep is wiped out. Everyone's productivity is wiped out. Nobody can get anything done. The continent is like, in some cases, slowing down. So, yeah, it's just an interesting story that's happening now where the lack of AC infrastructure is becoming a consistent real problem. I talked about this on the Patreon of Lemonade Stand, by the way. And one quote I used is from Lee Kuan Yew, who is the guy that kind of like built Singapore into a thriving modern country out of like nothing, this used to be a rice field, And he has a quote where he goes, 2 things made Singapore great. The first is our ability to manage a multi-ethnic democracy, our tolerance in a diverse society, and 2, air conditioning. That was his quote, dude. Because air conditioning is like a prerequisite in a hot area to getting everybody to just be able to perform. Yes, real quote. Real quote right here. Here you can see it. I'll pull it up. What were the key building blocks of Singapore? This is about us having a mixture of different people in a nice multi-ethnic society. Anything else? Air conditioning. Without air conditioning, you can only work in the cool early morning hours or at dusk. The first thing I did upon becoming prime minister is to install air conditioners in buildings for civil service work. Like, I like this guy because he's so fucking pragmatic. He's about the real details, not just about, I respect this guy so hard. Anyway, just being real about Europe, bro. They're going to have to do it. We've been joking about it for a while. It's like, oh my God, people in the UK are melting down in 72-degree weather, 74-degree weather, but it's, the buildings aren't built for it and something's got to change. Oh. The best AC in any European city is at Magic the Gathering local stores. Is that true? I mean, I didn't play Magic when I lived in Europe, so I don't remember that, but I mean, you got to keep it chilly in a Magic store, I'll tell you that. What's funny is, like, as someone who lived in Arizona, nobody on earth has better air conditioning than Arizona because they need it. In fact, I would say one of the coldest summers I ever spent was a summer in Arizona because I never went outside. You would just go into like a movie theater and they blast it so cold that it's like a frigid winter. I've never been less tan than when I lived in the hottest Arizona summer. Because instead of like you thinking you cook faster, you just never go outside. You get so pale. Like I get way more sun in LA when it's like 72 than I ever did in Arizona when it's like 103. Do you think building Phoenix was a mistake? I do think that Phoenix, Arizona is a blight against God. I think it's man's arrogance to God. I think God specifically said, don't build anything here. Humans aren't meant to live here. And he did that with the sun and the heat. And then we ignored him. We spit in God's face and built a tower to our arrogance in Phoenix, Arizona. We built Arizona State University. In AZ, you got to bring a sweater to work? Yeah, no, seriously. In Arizona, you have to sometimes bundle up in 100-degree weather because everywhere is so fucking blasted cold. They crank the AC. They have these deluxe-powered ACs that just, it's ironic the way it works. Anyway, let's keep this video going. I want to find the end of this.
Inspect the vessels, and they're always studying the identities of the Russian crew that come in to dock at this.
I'll be honest, I'm not super interested in this video thus far. In fact, I might even skip it. It doesn't seem that compelling. I get it. I assume Russia is meddling in Norway, but yeah, they're not going to catch anybody. They're just talking about how maybe mysterious Russia stuff's happening. It's a bit of a snooze. It might be a skip ski for me. How about why? Here, well, let's get a more relevant one and a shorter one that might get to what I want to talk about anyway.
Is the Kola Bay, a small stretch of water.
Why Russia is arming this Arctic bay to the teeth. Why is this bay near Norway getting armed to the teeth? That seems more interesting.
At the center of a global race to dominate the Arctic.
Yeah.
From here, Russia.
This is what I want to talk about. The global race for the Arctic. Now that everything's melting, everyone wants to militarize and gain control of these new shipping lanes and all these rare earth minerals. That's a relevant discussion that is causing things to play. That's why Trump keeps talking about fucking Greenland.
Mine the Arctic for oil, gas, and minerals. Export those resources and launch a nuclear weapon at anyone who threatens its ambitions. This is where Russia is storing part of the world's largest icebreaker fleet, designed to plow its way through melting Arctic ice.
Plow, flirt.
About 5 miles away is the Arctic's largest shipping port, which could one day export the resources Russia wants to mine from the seabed. And 20 miles north is a naval base storing some of Russia's most powerful nuclear submarines.
The Arctic is becoming very fast one of the most interesting places on the planet. Because of receding ice, there are more resources that people are eyeing to compete over.
I already said this. Okay, buddy, move on.
And there's a number of countries that are looking at exploiting them.
This is why the Kola Bay sits at the heart of Russia's fight for the Arctic.
I went there in 2021. It's a beautiful area, kind of rolling hills leading into the Kola Bay. But more than that, it's a very closed area. There's a lot of military installations, a lot of places that you can't go.
The Arctic is a sort of microcosm of geopolitical tensions.
It's not as remote as it appears on the map. The assumption is that the potential for a conflict in the Arctic is likely to happen first outside the region and spill over to the region rather than we will see a clash of different countries in the Arctic.
Russia's Arctic
Okay, wouldn't it be cool though if we had an actual Cold War in the cold? Like a Hoth type battle? I feel like we never had like a true Hoth. A chilly war, yeah. I think we should mix it up. Yeah, I think we need to get Russian AT-ATs. I think that'd be sick. We bring back that Norwegian White Death sniper guy.
Coastline stretches nearly 15.
No, he's Swedish, right? What was he? Was he Norwegian? He was Norwegian, right? Finnish? He was Finnish. You're right. They're gonna be so mad at me. They love that guy. They're so mad at me. Yeah, getting that guy wrong. Oh my God, there's somebody with a sniper train on me right now. I'm finished. Yeah, the guy was cool. He's a badass. He's a legend. But I did confuse him with other Nordic countries. I'm finished by the Finnish.
1,000 miles along the Arctic Ocean. The Kola Bay sits in the north.
Your Finnish cinema? Do you think he said that every time he shot the sniper? When he got those 700 confirmed kills? Do you think he said, "You're finished," and then touched his Finnish flag every time? Well, based on that story I just told, which is now true in my mind, I won't forget it.
Northwest, giving it strategic access to the Arctic and North Atlantic Oceans and neighboring NATO countries.
We've seen this slow, incremental militarization of the Arctic. Russia wants to get to a point where if it feels threatened in its high north, it can react militarily. Obviously, that creates a whole bunch of new scenarios, both for Moscow and for the NATO neighbors that are right next door.
Damn, fuck them whales, I guess.
A whole bunch of new scenarios, both for Moscow and for the NATO neighbors.
What does Russia have against the fucking
The Northern
whales?
Fleet is Russia's Arctic Navy division, including some of the most powerful weapons in its nuclear triad.
One of the biggest arms of that nuclear triad sits right in the Kola Bay.
Russia stores some of its nuclear-powered submarines here, which can be used to patrol icy waters and carry nuclear missiles.
The Northern Fleet is...
Which of the three major powers is going to get Santa on their side? Because he already has an established base at the North Pole. That would be a key base of operations for any military action. You know what I'm saying? He gives you intelligence benefits. Like he has knowledge of the region. He has spies in the form of elves. He's got U.S. because of capitalism. I knew it was good for something. I knew our consumption in the holidays would came back to benefit us.
Basically comprised of a lot of strategic submarines that carry nuclear missiles. This is basically their second strike capacity.
That's essentially Russia's ability to strike back if it was hit first by a land-based nuclear attack. Because its submarines are powered by nuclear energy, they can carry out missions for months at a time.
If you're looking at a Russian nuclear-powered sub, it could probably stay out at sea indefinitely.
And the Arctic ice actually plays a key role in Russia's nuclear deterrence strategy, since its submarines can hide under the ice before attacking.
A lot of Russia's military thinking in this area comes down to what is called a bastion concept. So creating a fortress right above the Kola Bay. And it uses air defense, it uses various types of submarines, it uses jet fighters as well. And so what they're doing is really kind of building out this very integrated system of defenses to make sure that their nuclear capable submarines really stay protected.
Core to that strategy are Russia's ultra-powerful nuclear...
I know that I'm stupid on this front. I'll say it. I'll fully admit it. This is not a really well-developed line of thought. It's just funny to me how much all world militaries spend on money around a war that, if happened, would kill everyone. The idea that, like, you need all these extra layers around nuclear submarines is so wild to me, because if you're using the nuclear submarines, it's over anyway. It's the existence of just one nuclear sub is kind of like half the battle, 90% of the battle. It's Russia has the most nukes on Earth. They have more than America. They've got thousands. And so the idea that, like, we have to constantly build more defenses for the idea, I don't know. It all just feels asinine to me. Even this lately, like, Europe is militarizing like crazy. Every European country is talking about all the new spending they're going to do on the military, and all of it's done through debt. So all these countries, all these European countries, which are, by the way, not exactly economically thriving either, are borrowing money to go build more military. And it's like, this doesn't go anywhere. I guess you build a military industry, maybe. That's one thing they're doing that makes some sense, but it's it all just feels wasteful, And I understand that countries need to have some proactivity in their defense, and they can't ignore it. And there are actors that will take advantage of you not having the ability to protect power. But boy, does it seem wild. I mean, Russia is a country that is literally in an economic crisis. They're in severe problems. Like, they're locking up butter in the grocery stores. And you're gonna invest on a third layer of defense around your nuclear-powered submarine so you can protect the bay. Like, who's assaulting the bay with the nuclear-powered submarines unless they're willing to go to nuclear war? It all feels asinine to me, but I know there's more to it.
Icebreaker ships, many of which are stored here, giving them easy access to the Arctic Ocean.
What they can do is, with those icebreakers, practically travel almost anywhere they want.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I want to perform a new slogan to the world leaders of this world, and it's called subs, not subs, if that makes any sense. All of the billions of dollars you spend on nuclear underwater subs, you should spend on Twitch subs for great content creators. Okay? With enough subscribers, we could turn this world around. We could educate this world. We could unite and collect this community. I literally think if you had one less nuclear sub and turned that into Twitch subs, every streamer on Twitch could get like 50. What does one nuclear sub cost? It's fucking... What does one nuclear sub cost? Anywhere from $2 to $5 billion. 2.8 billion per unit. Okay? Okay. How many streamers on Twitch? 7 million streamers. 2.8 billion divided by 7 million. That's 400 subs per person. Everybody on Twitch gets 400 subs. Subs, not subs, folks. It would do some good. Or if you're feeling like super lame and not cool and not chill about it. I guess you could spend the money on substitute teachers or Subway sandwiches for the homeless. Not nearly as cool as subscribers for a Twitch streamer, but I guess you could do those things.
They can be deployed at different times of the year.
But of all 4 of those sub options, okay? Of all the 4 subs it could be, it feels like nuclear subs are the worst use of the money.
Breaking different grades of ice, thickness of ice, and types of ice.
For comparison, Russia has around 40 icebreakers at its disposal, while the US has just 3. Some icebreaker ships are used by researchers to explore the minerals beneath the melting sea ice, and others are fitted out with weaponry, like cannons, guns, and missiles.
In the past, Ukraine was very important in providing various parts for Russia's icebreakers. Since the war started, that no longer happens. In fact, one of the plants that was building a motor for a Russian icebreaker came under attack by the Russians, so that kind of ended those plans very quickly.
These icebreakers also need to sail in front of any cargo ships passing through the Northern Sea route. This trade route between Asia and Europe is shorter than going through the Suez Canal, and it's been opening up more in recent years thanks to
Damn, it would be so fucking crazy if they didn't need the Suez Canal. That would actually change a lot. Because so much of what goes on in the Middle East is around having geostrategic superiority in and around the Suez Canal because of how important it is. It'd be crazy if it was like cut out of the picture.
melting sea ice.
When we look at the Arctic and the infrastructure there, it's very scarce. We have to think dual use. One of the Russian major objectives is to develop the Northern Sea Road as this international maritime link between Asia, Europe, and Northern America. But this will also have military strategic importance.
Russia's port of Murmansk is the largest commercial port along the route, and it's one of the only deep water ports in the Arctic that doesn't freeze over for parts of the year.
You need a deep sea water port to really handle some of these very big loads, especially when we're talking about the kind of resources that Russia wants to export.
While the US and EU have sanctioned Russian coal, oil, and gas, Russia recently opened a new port to serve a different trading partner, its Asian export markets.
They can take their coal from inside Russia up to the shores of the Kola Bay and then basically send them eastward to China.
China wants to become more of an Arctic player, so Russia is balancing keeping its trading partner happy while not allowing it too much control.
Which is really interesting. There has been this cooperation growing between Russia and China in the Arctic. Russia was willing to put the Arctic card on the table, for instance, when Xi Jinping was visiting Moscow, and say that they are open to joint management of the Northern Sea Road. This is a big change.
Damn, I didn't know Xi Jinping towered over Putin like that. Russia's so low bro in this relationship. It's crazy. They're a little bro in every way. They're a little bro in every way. He's baby. He's baby girl. She looks alpha, dude. She looks like he could play in Ludwig's basketball tournament. Do well.
So, what does this all mean for the rest of the world? Depends on who you ask.
If we're looking at NATO countries, I think we're looking at a bunch of different visions of how it should play out. I think, the United States has expressed grand ambitions to buy Greenland, for example.
Other NATO countries who have relied on US military support are building up their own military capabilities.
The Kola Bay, I think, really represents Russia's ability to defend its Arctic interests. It has all of the weapons systems and capabilities that it needs to make sure that it can control parts of the Arctic that it considers to be most important for itself.
On the trade front, Canada has said it wants to build infrastructure along its own Arctic trade route, the Northwest Passage, but it's still years away from becoming a reality.
I was talking to the CEO of a very large American arms company the other day, and he was saying that the Arctic is always a place of great potential, but it really depends on whether or not the US follows through on its plans or allows Russia to continue to take the lead.
As the race for the Arctic heats up, what's happening here in the Kola Bay is setting the pace.
Canadians standing outside with 2 aerosol cans spraying in the air so they can get the ice to melt faster, speeding up global warming. so they can get a fucking trade route that gets out of the United States. That's what it ends up to. Okay, good vid, good vid, good vid, interesting vid. But we have more to learn. We have more to learn, bro. Have Europe's great powers giving up? Oh, this is kind of a long one, though. What about... what about... Are we ready for super intelligence? So this video came out. This video came out 4 days ago from a brand new channel. This is like their first video. Bro came out of nowhere and casually dropped the most cinematic, well-presented AGI video on YouTube. I'm kind of interested. Is this AI 2027 though? Is that what it's about?
Hack into other servers, install it.
Oh, is that all it is? It's
in July 2027.
Oh, I don't want to watch this. They just did AI 2027 again, but with a thing. No, I already seen this. I don't want to watch it. New Jimmy High Roller? Is Cooper Flag worth the hype? Bronny clamped him up. I'll say it. I'll say it. Listen, Cooper Flag, the Great White Hope, he got fucking clamped up. You got to put the clamps on him, dude. Locked him down. Locked down by Bronny James.
With all that length in front of him. The fans coming to their feet. Bronny trying to stick Cooper Flag. Flag trying to walk him down. Couldn't. Sprays it to the wing. Trying to stick.
Look at this. Look at this clamps, dude. Doesn't let him pass.
Cooper Flag. Flag trying to walk him down. Couldn't. Sprays it to the wing. And the Lakers get the stop.
Oh, wait, show the better one. Show the better one.
There are some in the Lakers staff that feel that Bronny James could get rotation minutes this year. If he continues to track and develop the way that he is, he'll do
James
it by
Jr.,
being
baby.
disruptive on defense. He got the stop that time. The key is you have to make
Bro,
your
just
presence
show me the
felt
fucking...
consistency
Right here.
in the body strength.
This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. Watch this. Dude, look at Bronny.
So he can hold his ground better
Watch this.
against bigger guys, as he just did there against Cooper Flag. And then the key is just more consistency.
Oh, no.
The minutes he gets.
No. 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 Boom.
Put the clamps on Flag. Handcuffs. But a foul call against James.
Nah. Shit foul call by the ref, bro. Shit foul call. All right.
It's smoky in here, Tim. I'm not too sure about this.
Weak foul call. Weak foul call, dude. Weak foul call. He clamped him up. Oh, new good work? He slapped him in the face? Welcome to the NBA, baby. If you're not getting slapped in the face by a member of the James family, you're not ready for the fucking NBA. I'm sorry. They wouldn't call that in the 90s, I'll tell you that. All right, let's pull up Good Work. I think Good Work does have a new one. What is the point of summer internships? By Good Work 2 days ago.
Interns. Every summer, hordes of college students and one weird high schooler migrate to major American cities, especially here in New York, where they waddle into the skyscrapers of high-flying industries like finance, tech, and consulting, and pretend to be adults. But as these large children, with their confusing slang and ill-fitting dress shirts, invade our business enclaves, stand in line outside of our dive bars, and awkwardly linger on the fringes of our open-plan offices, just waiting for someone to give them a task to complete, an important question remains.
Did I ever tell you guys that on my very first day at NVIDIA, no one gave me anything to do, so I sat there and played the paperclip game for like hours, just trying to, because everyone was busy and I didn't want to. It wasn't cookie clicker, it was a paperclip clicker. Yes, universal paperclips. I played universal paperclips on my first day. I was just sitting there trying to look busy because I had no fucking idea. No one had given me a single task. I completed like the little orientation shit insta, and then you still got paid for it, yes? Bro, this is a salaried professional office job. You think they just didn't pay me? They just think it's fucking... They just didn't fucking pay me. They just cut my salary for that day. What'd you do on the second day? By halfway through the second day, I had gotten a task. My boss had gotten some free time, and so he found me, and he's like, hey, let's talk about xxx.com. It was a sign of your future career. Yeah. Brother, we hire people and they do nothing for a month before they start working. What? You're talking about doing nothing. I don't think I contributed in a meaningful way for months, probably, because you have to get caught up to speed. You have to learn stuff. But yeah, he wanted us to talk about XXX Tentacion. he was really into underground rap at the time. Yeah, it takes a while. But what I'm saying is I had nobody to talk to. I had no meetings. I had nothing. I was just at a desk. They just sat me down. This is your desk. Here's like some papers you got to fill out. But they thought that would take the whole day. And in fact, it took 15 minutes. So I had nothing to do, but everyone was busy. So I couldn't be like, I just didn't want to fuck up the vibe by being like, hey, so what do I do? So I just like looked busy on my fucking computer. And what I was doing was playing Universal Paperclips. You actually worked at NVIDIA? I thought it was a meme. Are you fucking kidding me? You thought it was a meme? That's so frustrating. You think I'm just making... That's crazy. I worked there for 4.5 years. I'm the reverse pirate software. Just making up a place I worked at. That's funny. Not only did I work there, I hand-built the GPUs. And that's not a meme. In my fucking garage, I soldered the GPUs together. A meme like Squeaks' kids? Dude, I swear to God, I'm visiting Squeaks very soon. He won't drop the fucking bit about having wife and kids. I can't understand. He won't ever give me a clue that he's lying. But it doesn't make sense. If he has a wife and kids, they are neglected. Because I see him playing Steam games at 3 a.m. every day. They are neglected. He is legitimately not doing a job as a father if he has actual kids. I literally see him playing insane hours. He only likes one of them. Why are you on Steam at 3 a.m.? I'm on Steam at midnight, but he's 3 hours later than me, or 4 some days. He only spends time with one, so it only takes half as much time. True. Fucking true. That's smart. That's just smart parenting. I feel like by the time your kids are 5 years old, you should have a general idea of whether or not they're worth it, you know? Whether or not they have good vibes. And if they don't, stop paying attention. Cut them loose, you know? Just, if you have 4 kids, pick the one with the most potential and focus in. The rest of them, hand them an iPad, you know? Like a baby bird, let him fly. Saying that to a 5-year-old. Hey, that's what they do in the world of Pokemon. I gotta be honest with you. In Pokemon, you better have your shit together by age 10 because you're getting kicked out to fight beasts that can spit fire. By age 10, you are thrown to the jungle to fight strangers and catch monsters. Figure it out. You better earn your own money. You better win your own fights. You better find your own place to sleep. Okay.
What are they actually doing here? Today, we investigate. I began my investigation by typing "what's the point of summer internships" into my computer, where I learned such facts as internships are a great option to gain the invaluable benefits associated with them, and the primary objective of an internship is to gain experience and exposure to a certain field. I mean, it was sounding like the internship stakes were pretty high. A suspicion I soon confirmed with some random videos of strangers yelling at me online.
If you don't have an internship the summer after your sophomore year, it'll make it harder for you to get an internship the summer after your junior year, which will then impact the chances of you getting a decent job after college.
Internships are more important now than they ever were before.
Change the course of your entire career.
One of the most... If you're a younger person or a person in college who doesn't have an internship yet, this video is going to be very triggering. Because I distinctly remember seeing shit like this when I was in college, and this shit burnt me the fuck out. Spooked me. So you're going to have to deal with it, bro. I went through the same thing.
Important career investments you can make.
Interns, it's not about what you're going to learn this summer, my friends. It's going to be who you meet.
As you can see, internships.
This is probably going to get me blacklisted from Mr. Beast parties or something, but I fucking hate this guy. I fucking hate Gary Vee, bro. This guy's such a goddamn grifter, bro. He's always fucking shilling this whole weird hustle lifestyle, and he fucking pushed NFTs harder than any man alive. I just find him to be so distasteful. I just think it's like a bad thing to sell people. Well, I got nothing wrong with hard work and nothing wrong with effort. I just don't like how he sells it. It always rubbed me the wrong way for so long.
You're going to learn this summer, my friends. It's going to be who you meet.
As you can see, internships are the most important thing that will happen in your entire life. And perhaps this is why so many of our best, brightest, and most type A young people are so determined to get one into their high-achieving crosshairs. Today, acceptance rates at top internships have fallen.
Where did you intern? I didn't intern anywhere. I didn't get a fucking internship before I got a job at Twitch. But I did workplaces part-time. Mostly for no money, so it's kind of like an internship. I worked at Team Liquid. I worked at Collegiate Star League. I worked at Esports Express. I worked at I did a lot of jobs. I did work at Machinima. Fizz Guy? No, the Fizz Guy wasn't part of my paycheck. I mean, it wasn't even like a salary job. It was like at Team Liquid, I'd have to go to League of Legends games and then write recap articles about the results and stuff for like $15 an article. Or it might have been 15 a word on some of them, but and then Machinima, I had to make patch notes videos, actually. For Machinima, this is after college, but before Twitch, when I was a highly ranked League player who didn't want to play League anymore, I'd have to make videos that broke down. I wonder if you could still find any of these. Machinima versus patch notes video Atrioc. Machinima? Oh, Machinima versus shut down. No, I don't think it exists. But yeah, I'd have to make these videos that broke down like, oh, in league patch 13.14, Ezreal got buffed. That's going to change how the mid lane plays on the Rift. You're going to need, I'd do that. I'd do that. I'd do this fucking voice. And they paid pretty fucking good. I needed that money. I would take the Machinima paycheck, and then I would go buy a Carl's Jr. burger, and that was my meal for the day. Well, I was living the fucking dream, bro. I was living the fucking dream. I swear to God, I was living the dream. Boy dinner? Yeah, exactly.
Below 1%, with Goldman Sachs, for example, receiving over 360,000 applications for just this summer's class. Companies in finance and accounting now recruit interns nearly a year and a half before they'd be expected to start, meaning many current summer interns applied in 2020.
Yeah, except for fucking Tesla, which recruited interns 18 months ahead of time, and then right before they were supposed to start, they cut them. So they didn't have time to find a different internship, and they just got completely fucked. Classic, beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. Just rug pulled
which,
them.
to jog your memory, is the year of ancient phenomena such as the Drippy Pope, Barbenheimer, the Met Gala cockroach, and it was also the last time my wife allowed me to caress her intimately. But enough beating around the bush, which is something I haven't done since 2023. I decided to seek out the highest possible authority on internships. None other than LinkedIn themselves.
In today's job market, it helps you get a job.
Corey Cantega is the head of Economics America at LinkedIn. A real goddamn job title.
It's particularly slow for entry-level workers, so it is critical to do everything you can to get an advantage in the labor market when it's so competitive. Financial services, technology, information, and media, those are key areas.
I was going to make a joke on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn literally did get me a job. It did do it. It threw a crazy roundabout happenstance way, but it did do it. It did sort of work. There was a Riot Games resume review LinkedIn group that I joined where you could submit your resume to have other Riot Games job seekers review it. So it's just the blind leading the blind. It's just other people that want to work at Riot that would review your resume. But I was fucking desperate. So I put my shitty ass resume that had a picture of Fizz on it in there to get it reviewed. And obviously, when the person reviewed it, the feedback was useless. They were like, get rid of the Fizz picture. Fucking stupid ass. Fucking take your stupid ass advice elsewhere. Thank you. Anyway, but because I completed the resume review, I was entered to win Season 3 World Championship tickets. Which is Faker's first championship, by the way. And against all fucking odds of the thousands of people that submitted to that, I won. I was one of like the 3 winners. I didn't even notice because I never checked LinkedIn. Like I was on the last 2 days before they gave it to someone else. I won the ticket. And so I got the ticket, which is great because I was I was a writer for Team Liquid. But weeks before the event, they told me, hey, normally, like every other league event, they paid for my ticket and I got me press badge. But for this World Championship, it was at Staples Center. And so it wasn't crypto at the time, it was Staples Center. And so they said, hey, all the press spots went to like ESPN and real news articles. We can't get you a spot. Like you're too low on the totem pole. You can't get there. We can't get you a ticket. So I wasn't going to be able to go. Like I couldn't afford the actual ticket prices and I was screwed and they weren't going to give me a press spot. So So I won the contest and I got the tickets. And then because I got the tickets, I told them, hey, I am going to be able to go. I do have tickets. Then they got me a press badge. So I think they were just being cheap about the tickets. Like once I told them I had tickets, they got me the press badge, which is actually kind of fucked up. Anyway, I got the tickets, so I got the press badge. So then I go and I get to hang out in the press room and meet people, which is where I got to meet up with. Now, this is the first time I met him, but it's the first time I met him in person. I talked to him online. I got to meet my future boss at Twitch. We met in person at that event. And because he wasn't really a lead guy, I was able to explain what was happening, and we built sort of a friendship. And then we met again at BlizzCon, which I also had to scam my way to. And then by then it was like, oh, this guy's an esports guy. He's at every event. And then he hired me. He fucking hired me. I literally had to do 2 insane things to get to 2 locations. And then I got the job at Twitch. It was fucking, it's crazy how that all works.
It's where you can get a leg up if you interned. You want to use the internship to figure out where you want to go, how to build your career. It's not just a tool to get a job.
What's the BlizzCon story? Fuck it, I'll tell you. This is like an early cut. So I'm sure someone's heard this story from 5 years ago. But so the Twitch thing goes pretty well. Actually, just to be clear, at the time, I don't even have a car. My car's broken for whatever reason. So I have to ask my friend, Lorenzo. He is one of my best men. Lorenzo, I'm like, hey, Lorenzo. And Lorenzo lives in Arizona. I'm like, Lorenzo, you're the biggest League fan I know from Arizona, other than me. Now I'm out in California. Lorenzo's black. He's not Latino. And I go, Lorenzo, if you drive out to California and drive me to the game, I have an extra ticket for you. Because I got 2 from the contest. And he goes, I'll do it. Which is so fucking awesome. What a good friend. So he drives all the way to California, picks me up, takes me to the game. We get to go to the game, meet people. I go to the press room. I don't even get to hang out with him that much, which is not cool of him. And then after it, I get invited to this after party thing from my future boss at Twitch. And I go to Lorenzo and I say, hey, bro, I know you have to drive back to Arizona tonight. Can you drive me to this after party? It's so important. And he goes, yes, dude. He like literally, what a fucking guy. I love this guy. He's such a bro. He drives me to the after party, comes in, hangs out, talks to people. He doesn't know anybody. I'm like, I'm doing all the networking here. He's just kind of like doing it for me. Like he doesn't know anybody. It's not for him. What a fucking legend. I still remember that to this day. Anyway, I get to hang out with Ben. I make a good impression. I talk to him. He's like, well, I see you at BlizzCon. In my head, I'm thinking, I don't fucking know. I don't have any money. But I'm like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll see you at BlizzCon. Big dog. Slap his hand. So that meeting goes well, but I'm not in or anything. And then at BlizzCon, I have to figure out a way in. But BlizzCon tickets are already sold out. And the prices are crazy. Like I don't have the money for that. So what I do is I have like, I don't know how much money I have to my name, but like, I think it was like $120. I think I have like $120 that I can spend on this. And I go to BlizzCon and I can't afford parking and nowhere parking nearby. So I park like, I don't know, 8 blocks away at a Walmart parking lot. And then I skateboard all the way to BlizzCon. I skateboard all the way to BlizzCon. And then I get there and I don't have a ticket. I can't get in. I don't have a badge. And so what I do is I'm just walking around the front trying to see if anyone will scout me a ticket. And I'm walking around just looking confused, like looking like, boy, I wish I had a ticket. And then there's a shady looking guy who goes like, looking for a ticket? Looking for a ticket? Like oh, I think it was Target, Slumlord Studio. It was Target, and halfway between the Target and the BlizzCon was a Taco Bell. I remember that because I was so fucking hungry, but I couldn't afford the con food. So I stopped at the Taco Bell and I got my 2 double-deckers, and it was the greatest meal of my life because I was so starving, and I got 2 double-deckers, and I kept refilling. I think I used soda in the water cup. And I was fucking cooking. And then I skateboarded all the way there, and I find the scalping guy, and the scalping guy's like, "You want a badge? $250 or whatever." And I'm like, "Bro, I straight up don't have it." And I'm like, "I'll take you to the ATM and show you how much I have. I don't have it." And he's like, "Okay." So we go to the ATM and I show him my balance, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll do it for 120." So I take out 120 and I give him the 120. He gives me the badge, but he's like, you get none of the things with it. You get none of the, because the badge, if you wanted, you could go get all the goodies. You get like all the Blizzard collectibles that you could sell. You don't get any of the pets. You just get the badge. So I was like, all right, fine. So I get the badge because all I wanted to do was get in the door. So I don't know if I still have this. It would be so hype if I do. It would be so hype if I still have this. Nah, I think Ari cleaned it up because there's like way less badges than there used to be there. But I had a badge that said like not Muhammad. It was like Mahmoud or something. It was just some dude. It was just some guy. It was I'll just say it's not a white guy name. It was like not a white guy name. And that's what it said on the badge. That was my name. I had a non-white guy BlizzCon badge. And so what I did was, you had to show the front of it when you walked in, but then I would always turn it around to the back. Because I didn't want to be in a conversation with somebody and they look down at my thing and it's like, "Brandon, why do you have the wrong badge? Why are you broke? Are you whatever?" So I always flipped it around. Like I'd always turn it forward when I go in and then turn it around when I remember I got in BlizzCon and Ben, the guy I wanted to meet, was busy. He was doing something and I didn't know anyone else. So I just walked around, and then Shindigs. I'll never fucking forget this. Because I knew him through collegiate esports stuff. But Shindigs, I don't know if you guys have ever seen his stream. He does like all sorts of insane VTuber stuff. If you've ever seen it, Shindigs. But Shindigs is a real person, a really nice guy. And he was so nice to me. Like he kind of knew more people than me. And he's like, "Hey, Atrioc, from TSL." And let's, he's like, "What's up?" And he walked around with me and like, I think he introduced me to some people and like we watched some esports with me. So I wasn't fucking alone all day at BlizzCon, like feeling like a loser. It was cool. It was sick. Shindigs is awesome. I'll never forget that. And then at the event, I got to meet my future boss at Twitch, and we have a much better meeting, like a consistent follow-up meeting. And between then and then, I'd done some more esports stuff, so it was like I'm still doing the work, and I think that led to him mentioning an upcoming offer. Yeah, it was wild. So, I think there was a lot. That was just to get the interview. There was still a lot to go, but like those meetings put me in the door, which was cool. It was cool. In retrospect, so many little things that go right. Yeah, it does feel like that. There's definitely a ton of luck involved. But it's worth saying that like you have to have some preparation to meet opportunity. It's not like they were like wow, your handshake's so firm and you have a nice smile, you're hired. Like all they talked about was the, oh, I read that article you wrote for Team Liquid, or I saw the fucking thing. And then there's a guy that I met at a random after party at one of these events that ended up hiring me for Esports Express. And then when I did good work for them, they got the front page of Reddit. And then that's all that got mentioned in my Twitch interview. So it was like, it's like these weird lucky things, weird opportunities, and then you work hard on those opportunities, and then it snowballs. So I don't know, it worked out. Weird things come together. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this video.
It's a tool of discovery. The ability to do an internship is not accessible to everyone. If you can get an internship that's paid, that's a great advantage. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of folks pursue internships in finance, because they are all paid.
Indeedy, in the world we call business, internships in the finance sector are often deemed the ritziest. Not only because of the connections they provide, but also the fat salaries they offer these kids to blow on whole milk and Newports. If kids are still spending money like they used to. For example, banks like Goldman Sachs and hedge funds like Citadel pay from $50 to $150 an hour. So you can make more than 20 bands in 2 months in a single summer.
That's
so it's no
crazy.
surprise that applying to these things is a process that includes a whole lot of resume
$150 an hour for an intern is crazy.
bullshitting and a whole lot of rejection.
You really don't have any experience, any relevant experience, so you just try to make anything sound like relevant experience.
I applied to around 30 to 40 internships, and I think I got ghosted by over 90% of them. I know a lot of people, like you, are looking at internships even as early as your freshman year.
I emailed 50 firms. I chatted like maybe 10, 20, 30. Everyone was on the grind with their networking, coffee chats and things like that. I skipped all of my lectures, like especially second semester when like the recruiting for summer hyped up. I skipped almost every single class.
There's this thing called the 400 questions guide.
My guy.
And there's literally 400
My
questions
guy.
that relate to investment banking recruiting, and students are memorizing all of them and being able to answer all of them just to even have a shot.
That's
It was psychotically competitive. Like there would be networking events on campus and people would lie about when they were so that you wouldn't make it there and stuff like that.
Hey!
Dude, that's so fucking petty. That's so crazy petty. The odds of them believing you, not showing up, and that mattering to whether or not you get the job are so small. And the second you do it once, you've burned that bridge forever. Knowingly lying about that's crazy.
I just want to take a moment and thank you for watching Good Work with me, Gavin Crenshaw. I am Gavin Crenshaw, and I've always been Gavin Crenshaw. Ask anything about me. My ad.
I don't want to hear about incogni.
And second, internship culture is so This is truly the stuff of nightmares. An internship culture so intense that it's morphed America's college kids into hardo internship seekers first and students second. But listen, when you finally arrive at being hired as an intern, I mean, these things simply gotta be like the greatest gigs ever, right? I mean, like Corey said, it's the time to build your career.
It's
a tool of discovery. Right?
Looking back on it, I'm like, there is nothing I was doing that was that important. It's literally sending PowerPoints around, taking notes on calls, playing around on Excel. Everyone who I know is successful, like at good firms, all of them basically spend their entire summers, for lack of a better word, being miserable, taking on as much as they could.
They moved into a brand new office. He was just like, hey, you guys are gonna build all of our desks. so we built fucking desks.
It was a lot less work than you'd expect. You'd expect to be busy working long hours, but a lot of it was reading the Wall Street Journal and just trying to be able to hold a conversation with some of these people that work there.
Hey, it's
Let
my
me
job.
tell you, it might seem like nothing, but kids, the older you get, the more you find out that trying to be able to hold a conversation with the people that work with you is harder than splitting a goddamn atom. But broadly, it seems like despite whatever importance internships hold down the line, and despite their pay or the effort put into actually getting them, a lot of places have no clue what to do with these corporate cuties when they finally spawn in your office. Unlike my intern Lucas, who I have pushing that boulder up the hill for very legitimate reasons, that he will figure out once he is done. However, I have come across one prominent exception to the wayward directionlessness that fills many an intern summer. Partying.
The people that were going out were getting obliterated, like just drinking.
Welcome to so-called
Mr.
Intern
Purple?
Row, a loose conglomerate of popular watering holes among the intern class in Manhattan's Lower East Side, found in a quadrant of streets that sound just like your office's 4 new Nepo hires: Ludlow, Orchard,
Ludlow,
Rivington, and Stanton.
What
While
is this,
traversing
bronze?
these grounds, I was a little scared one of these business cherubs would come out and bite my leg. So I called in a little expert backup from Lydia Moynihan, a reporter for the New York Post who's extensively covered young professionals living it up in the city. Lydia, how are you?
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us here.
I'm so glad to be here as an anthropologist explaining intern culture on Wall Street. I can see this is somebody who didn't grow up here. This is where everyone wants to be. They think this is the height of civilization. It kind of feels like a rite of passage.
Interesting.
You have your bat mitzvah, your bar mitzvah in some cultures in Judaism. And in this culture, you have your rite of passage, which is going to hair of the dog, kind regards, going to brass monkey. But you don't really have any real responsibility as an intern. And I think that's something that we need to note, because you speak with a lot of these interns and there is a lot of pressure to perform. On the other hand, they don't really contribute that much. In a way, it's sort of blissful because there's no real stressors or responsibilities on your shoulders in terms of the company. But obviously you do want to get a return offer.
You want to prove you're a hard worker even though the work you're going to be getting isn't necessarily hard.
One more Twitch story that I've told before, but I don't care. I'm hitting all the stories today. There was an intern at Twitch who brought his friends in to drink on the weekend at Twitch's free open bar when nobody was at the office. He got obliterated drunk, threw up in a boardroom, and then left it there. Didn't clean it up. Just vomited on the floor, left it there. And then, again, I've mentioned this is a story I've told quite a bit, but it's so funny to me. On Monday, executives go to that boardroom at 9 a.m. and they open the door and it just smells like vomit and there's vomit there. And they're so mad. And then it's not like it's a secret. They can check the cameras, and they do. And they find out exactly what happened. And then that is the end of open bar at Twitch. He literally gets it ruined for all of us. They get rid of it. They lock up the bars. It's like you can get a beer on Fridays now. Did he get fired? Everyone always asks that question. No, actually he didn't. But he didn't get a return offer. That's how crazy it was. the 2014 era. He didn't even get fired for that. They needed developers, dude. They need a guy to code.
No, and I will also...
But despite how sick of a hang this was, I couldn't get out of there without talking to the mayor of Intern Row, AJ Alexitos, owner of the bar, Hair of the Dog, an Intern Row staple where I pulled trig for the first time. We're right at the cusp of intern season. We can see the tidal wave in front of us, and it looks like a bunch of bonobo suits and Bank of America backpacks. How are you preparing for intern season?
Well, we love it. We can't wait for them to come. We're welcome to everybody and anybody. You know, the way we do things, our pricing, it just encourages, you know, all walks of life. So, you know, the more the merrier. They're so full of energy. They can't wait to just go out. A lot of them do work, you know, insane, especially like the hedge fund guys. But for the most part, they're just excited to be in the city and, you know, work and party.
Can you usually tell what industries these interns are working in when they're here? Do they usually tell you?
I mean, we always just assume finance, but, you know, it's a mix between marketing and finance.
Why the
marketing?
assumption?
That's just the classic bro look in the city.
Is there a giveaway for that at all?
You know, like you said, the Bank of America backpack, the swag, the Patagonia vest, yeah, the slacks, white socks.
I'm sure a lot of interns are curious what the advice might be from the owner of their favorite bar in New York City. What's your advice to interns as they come here this summer?
You know, just, you know, treat your bartenders with respect, you know, treat your neighbors with respect, and come in and have a good time. That's really what it's all about.
Come in, have a good time. That's really what it's all about. Much like me throughout this investigation, I imagine many of you interns will be sitting at your place of work this summer thinking, What the hell is the point of all this? Folks, the shortcomings of internships are about as glaring as the summer sun upon my Anglo-Saxon forehead. We now have a system in a few massive, influential industries where people who are basically still children feel like they need to force themselves into a highly exclusive, broadly
35 to 40 is a person in their 20s. 50 plus old. 25 to 35 is
accessible and impossibly competitive pipeline so that one day they maybe might have a chance at possibly getting an entry-level job out of college. I mean, they're already doing college. What the fuck is college for? Internships are a wild
practice.
stallion. And I think it's about time we reached into our saddlebags, grabbed our assless chaps, and broke this bronco once and for all. Obviously, we need to make entry-level jobs in the corporate world attainable through a less horrible process. But until the powers that be come to their senses and make it so you don't have to apply to learn how to bank when you are 19 years old, interns, now that you're here, just try and have a responsible good time. And once you acquire some clout in your corporate future, just remember how horrible this entire thing was and do your best to make the internship process a little less absurd. If you can do all of that and treat your bartenders with some goddamn respect, then I guarantee you'll turn out all right. Which is what this is all about, after all. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
All right. Yeah, I mean, good luck. Good luck if you're looking for internships or entry-level jobs right now. I know it's a grind. I know it's a hustle. Respect it. Watch the end. Everyone always says that, but the end is never as satisfying as you.
And now, real selections from the Investment Banking 400 Questions Guide. What's the riskiest thing you've ever done? Don't say cocaine or any other drug / porn-like / illegal activity. What's your greatest fear?
If you're in a job interview and someone says, what's the riskiest thing you've ever done? And you say cocaine, you shouldn't need a guide. If you need a guide to know not to say that, then how are you going to get... Actually, it would be a badass answer. The riskiest thing I've ever done? Answering cocaine to this question. I like to take risks.
About investment banking. Do not give an actual legitimate fear. Losing your friends / significant other, gaining weight, working too much, hating your life, getting laid off, etc. Why did you get a C in accounting? Don't even try to make up an excuse unless it's a really good one. For example, your parents both passed away that semester. Why are you so old?
I have no answer to that. Yeah, what they're saying is any question you can't answer, just say both your parents died tragically. Even if they're alive and well. That way, no one can ask follow-up questions. No one can ask follow-up questions. Getting a journalism internship right now is actually impossible? Really? That's crazy because print journalism is such a thriving career. And there's so many full-time jobs, it's weird there wouldn't be internships. That doesn't track. I don't understand. At least there's no threat of AI, I'll tell you that. Ask Ludwig. All right. I am going to end now normally, but instead of ending, I'm going to play one game of Age of Empires because I want to play it tonight. I'm not watching Smallville, unfortunately, but it's a Sunday. I shouldn't even be live today. I only went live to watch some videos and make sure Adish has stuff for the Clips channel. However, I'm also deeply addicted to Age of Empires. I'll be honest with you. I'm deeply, deeply addicted to Age of Empires. And so I'm going to play it. Now, here's the problem. I talked to Hera, the goat of the game today. By the way, I saw this chart. Wait, You guys look at this chart. This chart is embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, but it's just very funny. Look at this chart, dude. AOE2. Okay. This is the entire AOE2 player base. This is where I fall on the ladder. Right now, I'm in the, well, you know what, top 30%? You know, I'm on the upper end. I've done pretty well for my first 100 wins. This is Hera. He's the single greatest player in Age of Empires history. He is number one. There is nobody else in his thing. So I was talking to him today, and for whatever reason, I keep, like, I was feeling kind of bad about today. I just, like, days ago, I started just hitting him up with random questions, and now I'm just, like, venting to him like my therapist, my Age of Empires therapist. It's like me playing pickup basketball and then, like, telling LeBron, like, dude, it's so hard to hit a jumper, bro. It's crazy. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I was looking at our chat history and I realized that I'm, like, regularly, like, just trauma dumping to him. Like, dude, it's fucking, like, I hit him up and I was like, bro, this is a real quote. Bro, this game is 90% decision making. It's not even about speed. It's like about getting information and making the smartest decision. Every time I look at the replay, I'm just making some insanely dumb decision I didn't have to make. And then he's like, yes, bro. Of course, it's a strategy game. You're actually playing pretty fast. You got nothing to worry about. Like, he's like hyping me up. But it's crazy because he's the GOAT. Like, what? He should just be like, shut up. He's like being so nice. He's like, are you still enjoying the game? That's the important thing. But it's just funny because the things I'm saying are like so basic to him, but he's being so nice. What I'm just trying to say, he's being very nice. Dude, here's me saying, oh my God, I'm getting stomped today on the ladder. And he's like, ah ha ha ha. That's all good, bro. It's totally normal. The important thing is to keep focusing on improvement and what you practiced. Don't autopilot games. Like, imagine LeBron telling you that. It's so crazy. I was talking to him like a random friend that plays this game, but like I was forgetting that I'm talking to the greatest player that's ever lived. Like, he's winning every tournament for years. It's so funny. I'm getting too casual. Anyway, yeah, it's like venting to Faker about how hard like the Oriana matchup is, and he's like, yeah, I just keep practicing. Anyway, he's a great guy. Super funny, good banter. And he gave me some advice because I have been on a losing streak. I'll be honest with you. I have been on a losing streak.